everybody, this is Jonathan, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to use the Task Manager in ReactOS. So for Task Manager, it's a tool which allows you to see what's running for background and how much of the hardware resources is being used up. So for example, if I opened up Firefox, then the software will display that you're running Firefox in the background, as well as how much of the hardware is being used up. So how much RAM for Firefox would be using, how much of the CPU is being used. So for example, if we were playing a YouTube video, then the CPU performance would be a lot higher than it would be without playing any YouTube videos at all. So yeah, it's not just applications that we have opened up, it's also the services that the operating system is using in the background to be able to make it function. So yes, it's a very simple tool to allow you to see what's running in the background and see how much of the hardware resources that is being used up. Okay, let's get started right now. So what I will do is I'm going to click onto View, click onto Full Screen Mode, and now switch. So now I've switched to Full Screen Mode. To open it, all we're going to do is go to the taskbar, which is right over here. And from our taskbar, we can now go to Programs and now go into Accessories and now click onto the software, go into System Tools, and then from there click onto the Task Manager. So to do it, go to the taskbar, go to Programs, go to Accessories, go into System Tools, and then from System Tools open up Task Manager. Once I've opened up Task Manager, we should see a screen like this. So applications is basically all of the applications that you have currently got opened up. So for example, if I wanted to open up our application manager, as you guys can see, this is opened. And as you guys can see, this application that is opened. ReactOS application manager will be able to run some softwares. If we close out of this, as you guys can see, it is gone now. And it does not have to just be one application. We can have the command prompt as well opened, and now as you guys can see, we have two applications currently running in the background. So there's some few options over here. So you can end task, you can switch to, or we can add in a new task. So if we want to end the task, what we can do is close out of it this way, or alternatively, we can press onto the end task bar right over here. Okay, so if I had two of them opened like this, and we were wondering, how do I switch to another task? All guys need to do is click onto command prompt, switch to, and that will just basically switch you to the command prompt. As you guys can see. What I will do is I'm going to go back to Programs, go back into Accessories, System Tools, and then from there I can go to Task Manager. But as you guys can see, this is how I'll be able to use this interface and how I'll be able to tell what sort of applications is running in the background. If you guys want to do, what you can also do is add in a new task from the software by clicking onto New Task. And what this will allow you to do is open up any softwares by clicking onto this drop down, and it may display some stuff. Or alternatively, we can display some browse, and then we can start looking for what you want to look for. So for example, what I would do is I'm going to look for something which I could use, sol.exe. So let me open up that up. Now I press on OK, and now as you guys can see, Solitaire is now opened because I was able to browse for software by clicking onto New Task. And I click onto Browse, or alternatively you can just use this drop down, and this will allow you to select what sort of software you guys want to open within the Task Manager. What I will now do is I'm going to end the task for Solitaire, as I don't know how to play this game, so I'm going to end task as I don't want to open it. Okay, so the next tab, as you guys can see, is processes. So processes are basically activities that's happening in the background. So it could be for the operating system itself, it could be the desktop environment, basically it could be anything that's related to the operating system, as well as the applications that you guys have opened. So for example, let me go into processes, and as you guys can see, system is over here. So this is our system important thingy. So if end process for that, it may cause some issues. Task manager.exe, this is the task manager that we are running. as you guys can see. So it just shows up some important important stuff that's running for background, and some applications, processes that you guys are also running for background by opening up for applications, and the applications are using these processes to do its activities basically. So what you guys can now do is through some of the information. So what I will do is drag this right over here so that way you guys can see it a lot clearer. So over here, as you guys can see, we have CPU. So all that CPU does is shows up how much of a CPU is being used up. So this one is using up 100% of a CPU. The system ID process is high because it's our system. CPU time is basically how much time it was using for CPU. So how much it was running on for CPU for, I think. Yeah, okay. And memory usage is basically how much of the memory that the process is using. I'm not too sure about for CPU time. I think it shows up how long it was using for CPU for, because CPU can kind of run it for a limited amount of time. Depends on how much CPU cores you have. But I'm not completely sure about that, but I know what our CPU is. I don't know what memory usage is. Memory usage shows up how much of the memory that the process is using, and CPU basically shows up how much of the CPU resources it's using up. So as you guys can see, some of it shows up zeros because it's not really using up much of a CPU. But as you guys can see, system ID process is using up a lot of that, so that one is using up most of the time. What now I can now do is click onto performance, and what performance will do, it shows up how much of a CPU usage is being used up. So for lower, for better, the higher it is, for more of a CPU usage is using up. And as you guys can see, 0% is being used up, so that's a good thing. And memory usage is quite low, it's 82 megabytes, but obviously once you open up like more applications, then it will go up, as you guys can see. Memory will go up for more applications to open up and for more processes that runs in the background. Let me close out of this. I'm going to close out of this, and now I'm going to close out of this, and as you guys can see, it went down. So over here, it just shows up some graphs about how much of a CPU is using up, like for lower, for better. As you guys can see, it goes up and then it goes down and it goes up and down. This is kind of expected. And memory usage, I do believe the higher it is, for more RAM it's using up. And over here it just shows up some additional information such as physical memory, how much physical memory got in kilobytes, how much is available within kilobytes, and how much the system cache is using up. Kernel memory is also there, commit changes and totals. If you guys just want to have a simple view, all guys need to worry about is applications, basically applications that are running for background, to be able to end a task and switch to the task, or add in a new task. Go into processes and we'll be able to understand what CPU is and how much memory is used up. And then for performance, you can see how much of a CPU is being used up, how much memory is being used up. I wouldn't say that these information doesn't really matter apart from physical memory, but these two are kind of really is an important part of it, because they basically just shows up how much of a CPU is using and how much of the memory is being used. And over here are some additional features, so we can add a new task and exit from it. Options, that shows up if one is always on top. View, which allows you to refresh it, so you'll be able to refresh what's the data within it. And then shut down allows you to shut down from this computer. We can restart, you can log off from an administrator, we can stand by, and blah blah. So these are the shutdown options that you guys see once you try to shut down a computer. And help is telling you more information about Task Manager. So yeah, this is a very simple software that anyone can get used to. Obviously, once you offer processes, you can just click on to end process. So it's kind of useful just to end some processes that we don't need running for background, just to kind of free up some memory basically, so that way we can run other applications a lot more faster. And we can also end applications processes from here, and we can just see what's the performance like on the computer. So yeah, this is a very useful software, and I think that every operating system should have one. Okay, so I just want to say thanks so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.